Jenkins from KERM, KGOS Radio. This council meeting is being broadcast live on the local radio stations and also is up on YouTube and will be up on YouTube. We also have Miss Jess Oakes here from the Torrington Telegram. This is the second meeting in July, 14th meeting of the year. Councilman Shane Victorin is excused this evening, and we do have a quorum. I have asked Councilman Kelly to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the mayor's informational items. Summer is reaching its midpoint. Please continue to enjoy all the facilities the City of Torrington provides. The municipal pool, the golf course, the ball fields, the lengthy walking path that runs through the middle of our city, and the many parks we have. Summer is very busy for the city. There are many different types of outside events for all to enjoy. Upcoming is the Lions Club Festival of Sight, which will be held on Saturday, July 20th at Pioneer Park. The street dance sponsored by the Bronco Bar is set for Saturday night, August 3rd on Main Street. And the upcoming Goshen County Fair is running from Thursday, July 25th through Sunday, August 4th. Thursday, August 1st is Goshen County Day with the annual fair parade on Main Street in Torrington. Come out for the Goshen County Fair and the Goshen County Fair Parade. There is fun and activities for all. Along with the fun and relaxing summer activities come the summer chores. Thank you for all the lawn mowing and weed pulling. I know those chores can become tedious and tiresome as the weeks roll on, but keeping up with that pleases your neighbors and makes Torrington the best place to live, work, and play. I want to thank all of the city supervisors, employees, and seasonal employees who are working hard this summer season to keep the golf course, the parks, the cemetery, the ball fields, the pool, the streets and alleys, and the water, sewer, and sanitation services clean, beautiful, and functional. Our supervisors, employees, and seasonal employees work hard in the summer, and I want to let them know that their hard work is noticed and appreciated. As we see locally more and more food trucks, I want those business people to know that the city appreciates all they offer to our residents. Those businesses are not specially regulated by the city itself, and I want them to know that they are most welcome to do business in the city of Torrington. It's summer. Please continue to enjoy the season. Be smart, be safe, be careful. I did want to announce this. Our next council meeting will be 6 p.m. rather than 5:30 p.m., but 6 p.m. Tuesday, August 6th, 2024 at Jordan Park. We will have the council meeting in conjunction with the celebration of the annual National Night Out activities. So again, next council meeting is 6 p.m. Tuesday, August 6th, 2024 at Jordan Park. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the July 2nd, 2024 council meeting as published.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilman Patterson to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda as set forth on the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion from Councilman Kelly to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Councilman Patterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor of approval of the agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the agenda itself is approved. Next item on the agenda is what we call the public forum. This is for non-agenda items. There is a time limit of 2 minutes, and the speaker must sign up for this before the meeting. This is a time for the council to listen. No action will be taken. I don't see any sign-up sheets in that black inbox up there on the bench, so no one has taken advantage of this, but I want everybody to know that if they want to address the council, they can fill that form out and put that in that box, and they will be given 2 minutes to address council. Next item on the agenda are the action items. First item on the agenda is special event permit. Amy Baumgardner with the Torrington Lions Club is requesting a special event permit for Lions Club Festival of Sight to be held on July 20th, 24, from 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Pioneer Park. The applicant is requesting that the special event permit fee be waived due to the fact that the event is a community event. And I will first call on Chief of Police Matt Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is an annual event that the Lions Club hosts as a fundraiser for the Festival of Sight. Very low impact event for us. This year they are not including alcohol as part of the event, so that significantly simplifies the application and approval process. Really, in terms of what they need from the city is just a handful of barricades, access to some power, and a handful of rollout trash containers. We don't anticipate any special need for law enforcement presence, other than we'd be happy to support and walk through and say hello. I really don't have any concerns. The biggest impact we might have would be some additional parking that would be necessary out on West 15th, but that happens every year and hasn't caused a problem yet. So I don't be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Chief Johnson? And he's not going anywhere, so if you do. And are you Amy Baumgardner, ma'am? You may come up, and Tina Geraltz, do you want to come up with her, or? Okay. So you are Amy Baumgardner?
I am Amy Baumgardner.
You are Tina Geraltz?
I am
Just
Tina Geraltz.
saying your name for the record. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so we are doing the Lions Club Festival of Sight. This is our 10th year. We're going to have bounce houses, a car show, concession stands. The whole public is invited. We anticipate maybe about 100 people, hopefully more, because I think last year it turned out really good, and we're hoping that this year it turns out really, really good. We are also doing a craft vendor show. There's not going to be any alcohol this year because in the past it was kind of down the drain. So we figured, you know what, that's okay because it's kind of a hassle to get one anyway. So we're just
It's a
gonna.
lot easier for us.
Yeah, yep. So, like Chief Johnson said, we do need some barricades and some trash cans for it, but otherwise, and I guess part of the park, but that's it.
And I will add, next year, the 2024 State Lions Club Convention is going to be in Torrington. So we're going to have a big deal, and I can't remember when it is.
In April.
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 In spring.
Yeah, it's in the spring.
Yes,
So
yep. They want to
that'll
go
bring a
towards
lot of
the end
people.
of April.
That's going to be bringing a lot of people in next year, so, yeah.
And this is a fundraiser for you
It
guys.
is a fundraiser, yeah.
Yep.
We help local people, they have to be residents of Goshen County. We help them with their eye exams, glasses, purchase new glasses,
Some surgeries.
some surgeries, cataract surgeries and stuff, but they have to fall within our guidelines as far as salary-wise, so,
And Chief Johnson said this is the 10th year,
yep, yep.
Yep.
same spot, 10th year.
Yep. We were up on the upper level, but we decided to move down.
Yeah, we could, well, since we started with the car show, it's easier to have it down on the lower lot.
Oh. And interestingly, you're not the first event that we've approved this year that is non-alcohol. Tell me how you guys came to that conclusion, not to do the alcohol.
Well, like I said, the past 2 years, so I started Lions Club about a year ago. Well, it's been almost 2. The first year, it was okay. It wasn't that great. And then this last year, I think we had somebody vendor for it, which was the Open Barrel. And I asked her how many customers she said legitimately only 17. So we're like, well, okay, then this is more of a family-friendly kind of thing, not that kind of family-friendly thing. So we decided to
Yeah.
kick it out.
And I mean,
I mean, it doesn't pay for the Open Barrel to be out there. It doesn't pay for us to do, all that we had to do to, to get the
Right.
permit and stuff. So it just makes it a lot easier all the way around.
okay, thank you. I just was curious
Yeah.
at why you went.
Yep,
know how
that's
Yeah,
why.
it's just-
It just doesn't turn out that
We
great.
tried it and it didn't work, so we're moving on, trying something else.
All right. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Ms. Gerolds or? Ms.
No,
Ballard?
but Mr. Mayor, I might say that I attended the event last year, and it was very nice, and lots of local folks, had cars there, so.
Yeah, we had a good year last year, great year.
Yeah, the car show
So-
turned out awesome.
Yeah.
So,
They donated,
$596, I
yeah,
think,
like
something like that.
$600 back to us.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was a big draw.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yep.
And hopefully by Saturday, the weather will have cooled down a bit.
a little bit.
It's
It'd be
going
nice,
back and
yeah.
forth, back and forth.
So,
All right. Any further questions for these ladies? No? Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Chief Johnson?
Sir?
No.
Hearing none, I would call for a motion to approve, on item number 1, to approve the special event permit requested by the Torrington's Lions Club and that the fee be waived due to the fact that this is a charitable event and nonprofit. I would entertain a motion to that.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve the Lions Club Festival of Sight and the waiver of the fee.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Deal. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Councilman Patterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the special event permit set forth in item 1 and waiving the fee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that event is approved and the fee is waived. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 2, a special event permit. Tiffany Leslie with the Bronco Bar is requesting a special event permit for a street dance to be held on August 3rd, 24, from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. The applicant is requesting approval to close the public street on Main Street between 19th Avenue and 20th Avenue, as specified on the map submitted with the permit application. And at first, I would call on Chief Matt Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is an annual event that we've hosted a number of years. Actually, I don't know how many years in a row. 11 years in a row with the Bronco Grill. I've had the pleasure of being part of the last 4 or so of them. The layout and planning is very similar to what it was last year. Tiff got the sign-off sheets accomplished as is required by our ordinance. The big issues on this one are making sure that we don't have folks under the age of 21 having access to the alcohol. Tiff and her team do a nice job with that by establishing several check gates and fencing it. We will also provide officers on grant time for underage drinking enforcement to assist in that. The next big concern is obviously traffic, which we've got a good plan laid out for. And then the final one is noise. We have the potential to have a noise impact. I think we have that mitigated as well as possible by facing the stage to the south rather than up into the residential neighborhoods. And Tiff and her team have agreed to work with us, especially as the hour gets later, to modify sound levels if necessary. So be happy to stand for any questions.
Just to follow up on your last sentence or two. So after 10, 11, at some point, the volume on the band will go down.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We start monitoring that pretty closely about 10:30, and then I believe the band's done by 1, and they transition to a DJ that is kind of keeping a lid on things until 2, when they close and wrap up.
And this is a 21 and over event only.
21 and over. They have 2 staff members at every gate. Actually, the design of it is quite good because it's set up to where you can only access off the sidewalk, either north or south of the Bronco. So they have a gate set up on either edge of the business and then a gate set up at the back of the business. So they have 2 staff members at every gate, checking IDs and wristbands. Really, the only thing we have to keep an eye on is the fence to make sure nobody's hopping the fence. And with a combination of staff and officers, we're able to do that pretty successfully.
And gentlemen, do you have any questions for the chief? I do, if no one does. I know that recently, Chief Johnson, you've been calculating what it costs the city to do their part in these events. Did you calculate that for this event?
Yeah, we have a pretty good idea. It should only take a pretty limited amount of officer staff time to help with street closure. We're talking 15 minutes for a couple of cops to help out with that. So we'd be about $38 for law enforcement expense. And it's about, I mean, it's pretty consistent for all of these events with Ed's team, just because it takes them about an hour to load and deliver barricades and then about an hour to load them back onto the trailer and take them back to the streets facility. So the total expense on that would be $105. If my math is correct, that puts us at about $143 of city expense. TIF has, because this is a for-profit event, TIF has paid the $40 application fee and the $200 special events fee as part of the application.
That's, those fees have already been paid.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Kelly.
In the off chance that like Garcia's or the Bronco Grill House might have minors in there after the 6 o'clock, how are you gonna handle?
Well, the tear down is, or excuse me, the shutdown of the event is at 6 p.m., but the actual band and everything else doesn't start until 9 p.m. The Bronco Grill and Garcia's both have easy access in and out without being part of the event. So the actual liquor boundary for the event is just inside the sidewalk on the east side of the street, and just inside the sidewalk on the west side of the street as well, with the exception of right in front of the Bronco Bar. And so what that does is it allows full pedestrian access to all the businesses on Main Street, with the obvious exception of the Bronco Grill, without having to go, or excuse me, of the Bronco Bar, without having to go inside the licensed liquor event. So we'd be able to manage that with no problem.
Ma'am, Miss Leslie?
My name is Tiffany Leslie with the Bronco Bar.
Did you have anything to add? That was a pretty thorough report. Do you have anything to add?
Just to state the record, so this year we are having Shane Brown and the Get Down Band, and they are out of Bridgeport, Nebraska. We are asking to close the street at 6 p.m. instead of 5 like we have in the past, because they actually supply their own stage. So it's not as long as a setup time. A lot of the businesses on Main Street, when I was going to inform them, actually preferred this so that we're not closing right on prime time at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Otherwise, as Chief said, it's pretty much the same setup as we've done every year. We face the stage to the south, so it's not going into the residential area. So if there is any noise complaints, it will focus that way. And every time there has been one, Chief has come to me and we've talked to the band and we've lowered the volume down, and we work pretty well with the band for situations like that. As Chief said, the fencing will be right on the street curb, so everybody will have full access to their businesses if they need it, except for the bar. So no minors will be inside the fencing at all. We do a great job monitoring that for them.
And I think you'll have 2 staff at each gate.
We have, every gate has 2 staff, so one will be checking IDs and the other one will be putting wristbands. So that allows us to be able to monitor as I'm walking around, as my staff's walking around, as Chief and his officers are walking around. So if nobody has a wristband, then we know they haven't been checked. And then we handle that situation as it occurs. And the same thing on the back side of the Bronco. So the back entrance, I have a gate as well. So that way nobody can get into the fencing without being checked.
And this is your 11th year?
11th, yes, I worked with the previous owners when they started street dance. So I believe this is 11 or 12, actually. So they began it in 2012, I want to say, is when Deb and Jean Quest first did the very first street dance. And I was their manager, so I was out there with them. So I have a little bit of practice. It's a lot.
And this, you don't have to answer it if you don't want. I'm just curious. So this will be during the fair week. Is that
Yes.
just coincidental?
I
or-
planned it that way. I was hoping that we could have some of the adults that are over at the fair, you know, they're out there every day, all day with their kids doing 4-H, and this will kind of give them a nice little break come sundown and be able to go out and have some adult fun after they spend all day with their kids, so.
All right, gentlemen, any questions for Miss Leslie? I just want to note, looks like you got a lot of people to sign the notice sheet.
Yes. I went to every business. I think I only missed 2 because they were closed that day.
Okay, but everybody's been notified that's
Yes,
impacted.
yes, sir.
All right, do you have a
Oh,
question?
no, I was just going to move to approve.
I'd entertain a motion.
Thank you.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilman Patterson to approve the special event permit that's set forth in item 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor in item 2 of approving the special event permit for the street dance for the Bronco Bar, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that special event permit in item 2 is approved. Next item on the agenda is item number 3, a special event permit. Dale Munt from the Torrington Volunteer Fire Department is requesting a special event permit for the 2024 Goshen County Fair Parade to be held on August 1st, 24, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Main Street. The applicant is requesting that the special event permit fee be waived due to the fact that the event is an annual community event. And I would first call on Chief Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, annual event that we host every year and we've had good success with. Over the last few years, I think we've found a nice balance of security and finding the right places to utilize barricades and use vehicle barriers. And no parade can be made absolutely safe, but I think we have ours as safe as we can reasonably make it. And it's a great community event and really appreciate the fire department and Go Goshen putting it on, and we're happy to support it with our staffing as well. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
We discussed this at the staff meeting this morning. You feel that you're adequately policed? You have enough officers available for anything that might come up?
Yeah, I believe so. The benefit of working with Ed Hawley and his team is we've been able to utilize a few more barricades, so we don't need to have an officer at every single cross street and intersection, and we kind of use really more of a rolling barricade where officers are moving down with the parade and keeping an eye on things. And then we focus our patrols in some of the more densely populated areas to prioritize safety where our higher crowd levels are. And that seems to work out really well, and I think we're going to be adequately staffed to make that happen. We have moved away a little bit from having every single police officer show up on fair day, because that, especially for folks that are working the night before or working the night of, that creates some pretty big impacts on lack of sleep, and especially during a busy time of year, that's not a good idea. So.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions right now for Chief Johnson? I see Mr. Dale Munt back there. Would you want to come forward and talk to us a bit? And for the record, just state your name.
Dale Dwayne Munt Jr., Torrington Fire Department.
That was a pretty thorough report by Chief Johnson. Do you
Yeah.
have anything to add?
No, I guess the only other thing is I did talk to Chief Johnson about the intersection on Highway 26 in Maine. We'll be parking one of our engines there, most likely engine 4, so just no traffic can come down that way. So I think that was the only thing I didn't hear him say, but no, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Well, I want to express my appreciation too for the Torrington Volunteer Fire Department being a big part of this. That's a wonderful thing that you do, and I don't know how many years this parade's gone on, for decades and decades. So I just express my appreciation for you guys doing that.
I suspect that parade is probably older than any of us. So it's gone on a long
That's old.
time.
I don't know about
That's
that
old.
one. I don't think Torrington was a city back then, was it?
Well, but when we were kids, it was going on, and it wasn't new then.
It was
so-
a town, though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Munt? Thank you again for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. I don't think there are any more questions for Chief Johnson either, so I would entertain a motion regarding approval of the special event permit set forth in item 3.
Mr. Mayor, I would make that motion.
I have a motion from Councilman Deal regarding item 3 to approve the special event permit, which is the permit for the Goshen County Fair Parade. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor in item number 3 to approve the special event permit for the Goshen County Fair Parade signify by saying aye.
Aye. Mr. Mayor,
I
we
know what you're
neglected
They
to.
requested a waiver.
We did. So,
I could just make another motion,
Oh.
a separate motion to waive the permit.
yes. So let's just vote on this, then make a second motion to waive it. So right now, I have a motion and a second to approve the parade permit. And no further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the special event permit for the Goshen County Fair Parade signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now I'd entertain a
Okay.
motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to waive the special event fee permit. Special event,
I can restate that, I think. I have a motion from Councilman Patterson to waive the fee for the special event permit for the Goshen County Fair Parade. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of waiving the fee for this special event permit for the Goshen County Fair Parade signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the fee is waived for that fair parade permit. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, which is amendment number 3 to the agreement for professional services with Enberg Miller Engineers. Staff recommends approval of amendment number 3 to the current agreement dated July 1, 23, in the amount of $40,370. And I would call on Director of Public Works, Jeff Harkins.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you stated, this is the third amendment to our 5-year agreement with Enberg Miller Engineers. This amendment is for our annual well monitoring, testing, and state reporting to DEQ regarding our landfill. In addition to that, they are going to provide for the replacement of the monitoring well uprights. I think there's 2 of them that need to be fixed, and that's an additional $2,000. And then we have miscellaneous surveying work, permitting work in the amount of $10,000. That's just kind of a filler in case we need that. We don't necessarily anticipate spending that. Happy to answer any questions.
I know we've used these guys for many, many, many years. Do they give us a break of any kind, like on any of this stuff?
A break?
Yeah, price-wise?
Well, I'll tell you that their cost has really not increased for several years. They're pretty much always around that $27,000 mark. So I would say that's kind of a break in today's economy.
Yeah, I didn't have a copy of the old agreement, so I couldn't tell what it was. But I know we've used them long time for a lot of things.
They've done a good job and continue to do a good job.
And just to review this a bit, The basic agreement is a 5-year agreement,
That's the base agreement, correct?
and this is just amendment number 3.
Right.
Okay.
Basically, that base agreement just says that we will use them in this 5 years, but all amendments, all the work that actually is going to be performed will be presented to council for your approval prior to,
By way of these amendments.
yeah.
All right, gentlemen, do you have any further questions for Public Works Director Harkins? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve that.
That's so moved, Mayor.
I have a motion from Councilman Kelly on item number 4 to approve amendment number 3 to the agreement for professional services with Enberg Miller Engineers. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Second from Councilman Patterson. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. All those in favor in item number 4 of approving amendment number 3 to the agreement for professional services with Enberg Miller Engineers as set forth in item 4, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that amendment number 3 is approved. Second page of the agenda, item number 5 is approval of the bills from July 3rd, 24 to July 16th, 24. And I would call on Clerk Treasurer Strecker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Be glad to answer any questions on both sets of those bills.
Well, Mr. Mayor, it doesn't sound like there's any questions, so if there's no questions, I'm going to make a motion to approve the bill as presented.
Thank you, Councilman Kelly. I have a motion from Councilman Kelly in item number 5 to approve the bills as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. All those in favor in item 5 of approval of the bills from July 3rd, 24 to July 16, 24, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, item number 5, all those bills are approved. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment, and I would see that Fire Chief Luis Correa is back there, and I would ask him to come up and give us a report. I'm sure it's a little bit more lengthy this evening than sometimes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, you're correct. It's a little bit longer than usual. Various calls. I think I counted 18 calls since the last council meeting that we went on. Varying from alarms. We had 2 of those at the high school. They were having issues with their fire alarm system. I do believe that they have gotten that fixed since then. We've got on quite a few gas calls where we go and investigate somebody smelling gas. Most of them turned out to be nothing too serious. Thankfully, with this month, we had 2 calls that were caused by fireworks, and that was it. I remember one year when we were still doing the fireworks show, I believe we ran on 11 calls that day with various fireworks.
Were these 2 fireworks grass fires or?
Yeah, they were. One was down in South Torrington on 3rd Avenue, and the other one was over at number 9. Yeah, like I said, we've had multiple grass calls out in the county. Our 2, couple of our bigger ones, we were mutual aided out to Gray Rocks for assistance in a diving operation and the use of our sonar. And I did just see an update that they have called off the search for that particular individual with no success. The other major call we went on was a mutual aid call out on the road to Chugwater, 313. I believe that one was estimated at 5,500 acres burned. Multiple entities were there. I believe 50-some apparatus were on that at one time, and 3 different counties, Platte County, Laramie County, and Goshen County, had people on there that night. I know myself as well as 4 other firemen. We got home about 4 o'clock that morning, with it being knocked down well enough that they were willing to kick some people loose. And the next day we were called out. However, we weren't able to send resources that way. Also that same night, some of our guys were called out to the landfill out for TDS, for a rather large fire that is going to be burning for quite a while. It's
Actually in the landfill?
Yeah, in the landfill in one of their cells. Yep. We've had similar calls to the city of Torrington landfill, and it's just, there's no good way to fight those with the amount of stuff that's in those fires. So it's you bury them, and then I believe they uncover them later on down the road once they think that it's been extinguished. But
that was TDS's landfill, not the city of Torrington's landfill.
correct. Yep, it was the TDS landfill just across the street from ours. So, but yeah, that's. I mean, like I said, we've had that. I guess one other call is we had a grain truck on fire just the other day that we responded to and were able to put it out. But that's all I have as far as calls go.
That fire near 313 was that lightning caused?
Yes. Yep. That was lightning.
And I heard the wind wasn't so bad that night.
Yeah, it was decent for the most part. We had quite a few wind changes in direction, so it made fighting it was a little bit difficult, and the terrain is just it's pretty intense out there. You go and then a drop off of quite a bit of distance that you just don't want to deal with. So yeah, it was quite a large fire and a lot of resources.
I appreciate the Torrington Volunteer Fire Department and all the fire departments and their efforts at protecting us from fire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, any questions for the chief?
Did I see that you got your air pack compressor already?
We did receive the compressor and the fill station. We are currently looking for a good place to place it. Unfortunately, the manufacturer recommends some clearances that we weren't going to be able to get in the current location where the compressor is now. So we are exploring options of of what we might be able to do, since it requires a 8-inch inertia pad of 8 inches of concrete for the vibration. So the spot that potentially we would have to cut into the floor, but the floor has heating in it, and there's some water lines that potentially could be cut and would have to be replaced in addition to pouring that concrete pad, as well as possibly contaminations from our fire trucks exhaust getting into the filters and possibly getting into our air that we would be breathing. So we do have it, and we're currently exploring options of where to best place that with the least amount of construction or reconstruction. So
Okay.
And you mentioned to me at the staff meeting this morning that to fill your tanks, Yoder is allowing you to use their equipment to.
yeah, we currently will take mostly it's been our scuba tanks that we've used. But yeah, the Yoder Fire Department was gracious enough to allow us to go out there and fill our bottles with their stuff until we're up and running again.
Okay, any further questions? Thank you, Fire Chief Luis Correa.
Thank you.
All right, this is public comment time. Is there anybody out there with a comment? Or any council member who wants to comment?
Let's make a comment to KGOS. I was out in Washington last month, and I got to watch the council meetings on YouTube, so it works.
International. All right, and I do want to say again, our next council meeting is August 6th, Tuesday, August 6th, at 6 p.m. at Jordan Park, and that's in conjunction with the National Night Out activities. So that's the next council meeting, 6 p.m., Jordan Park, Tuesday, August 6th. All right, if there aren't any further public comments, we have completed the agenda for this evening, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.